Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the widest and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Habiba Saripauda.
And I'm Joe Fernandez from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to
Balitang Pambansa.
Tonight's headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. assures there is enough government funds to address the needs of those who will be affected by the incoming successive weather disturbances this week. Signal number 4 was raised in many areas of Luzon as severe tropical storm Nika intensified into a typhoon. The president's signing of the Create More law is expected to further boost the country's economy by encouraging more investments. The Chinese government expressed opposition to the Philippines' recent enactment of 2 very significant maritime laws that seek to assert the country's sovereignty and further uphold its territorial rights. Since the last week of October, the country has dealt with 4 tropical storms and/or cyclones, beginning with the unexpectedly devastating tropical storm Christine that ravaged several regions from western and eastern Visayas, Bicol, Calabarzon, the Cordilleras, Ilocos, and Cagayan Valley. And with 2 more weather menaces headed right into the country this weekend and next one wonders how the hundreds of billions of millions in relief of financial assistance distributed thus far is bankrolled by government's calamity fund, 22 billion for this year alone. Our Clazel Padilla tells us more about the solvency of the fund and how it's been reduced for the final quarter of the year.
Even as Typhoon Nika continues to impact the country, 2 more storms are expected to follow, bringing further threats to the Philippines. In response to these challenges, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. assured the public the government has adequate funds to address the impact of incoming typhoons. Presidential Communications Secretary Cesar Chavez explained, while the calamity fund is decreasing, President Marcos Jr. has confirmed the Department of Budget and Management's readiness to support disaster response efforts. The assurance comes as authorities prepare for the potential arrival of more severe weather disturbances in the coming days.
Lagi may pagkukunan ng pondo ang gobyerno at mayroon tayong assurance mula kay DBM na mayroon tayong sapat na pondo para sa mga susunod na kalamidad bago sa katapusan ng hanggang sa katapusan ng Disyembre.
The Calamity Fund is used to aid disaster victims, repair damaged infrastructures, and support other emergency responses. The DBM has allocated a 22 billion calamity fund for 2024. In preparation for approaching storms, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has directed the Department of Public Works and Highways and the Department of Transportation to alert their private contractors to deploy trucks and equipment immediately in a heightened sense of urgency. This directive also extends to the attached agencies of both departments, ensuring response teams are ready before typhoons make landfall. This will ensure road clearing operation and swift delivery of relief goods.
Yung mga trucks nila, yung mga makinarya nila, yung mga private contractors na may kontrata sa gobyerno, DOTR, DPWH, dapat naka-preposition na din. Yan ay may instruction siya sa DOTR, may instruction siya sa Department of Public Works and Highways in attached agencies of DOTR and DPWH, yung mga trucks ng mga contractor na may kontrata sa national government ay dapat katulong na sa prepositioning.
Typhoons Ophel and Pepito are expected to hit the country later this week. From PTV, Clazel Padilla, Balitang Pambansa.
Typhoon Nika weakens into a severe tropical storm and is now over the coastal waters of Magsingal, Ilocos Sur. With maximum sustained winds of 110 kilometers per hour near the center, gustiness reaching 285 kilometers per hour and moving west-northwestward at 20 kilometers per hour. Based on Pag-asa's latest weather forecast, a heavy to intense rain will fall in Cagayan, Apayao, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Abra, Benguet, Ifugao, Ilocos Norte, Isabela, Ilocos Sur, and La Union. Moderate to heavy rains will experience in Aurora, Nueva Vizcaya, Quirino, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, and Pangasinan due to Nika. Meanwhile, before Nika's exit, a tropical depression could enter the country on Tuesday and would be named Ophel. And a tropical cyclone was spotted and may enter the Philippine area of responsibility before the weekend and will be given a local name, Pipito.
Many houses, properties, and even the livelihoods of residents in the provinces of Cagayan and Isabela have fallen into disrepair and ruin due to Typhoon Nika. In Cagayan, many residents are fearful of the potential rise of the Cagayan River. Currently, the water depth or level of the river has risen to an alarming 4 meters. In Barangay Nambalan Sur, Tuguegarao, and in Apari, Cagayan, numerous houses were also damaged due to the strong winds, with some even collapsing during the storm. Meanwhile, the mayor of Tuguegarao, Myla Tingke, has urged residents near the Cagayan River to evacuate in case the water level rises even further.
Northern Luzon, the Cordilleras, and Ilocos region, Cagayan Valley, and Isabela province still reeling from tropical storms Christine, Leon, and Typhoon Marce have been hit hard by the latest tropical cyclone Nika. PTV correspondent Floyd Breen's Guway dwells on uprooted and fallen trees, rivers overflowing their banks, widespread flooding, blown off rooftops and debris, and dirt all over the roads in this report.
Several ports of northern Luzon have been affected by the destructive force of Typhoon Nika. As early as this morning, much of northern Luzon experienced heavy rainfall and strong winds brought by the typhoon. In this first video, this road in Nueva Ecija has turned into a river due to the intense and unceasing rainfall caused by Typhoon Nika. In Aglipay, Quirino, which was directly hit by Nika, the fierce and powerful winds howl as the trees are nearly uprooted. In Santiago City, which is currently under tropical cyclone wind signal number 4, according to the latest data from Pag-asa, the terrifying sounds from howling winds and pounding rain underscore the intensity and danger Typhoon Nika brings. In Ilagan City, the powerful winds have blown over the surface of the Abuan River and turned massive waves due to Typhoon Nika. Ilagan is also under tropical cyclone wind signal number 4. In Cagayan Valley, tree branches and plants are being blown away as a result of the impact of Nika. Typhoon Nika has also severely impacted Etiaga, Isabela. The uploader's voice describes the typhoon's intensity as part of their house are nearly blown away. These are just some of the areas affected by Typhoon Nika. At this moment, let's make sure to stay safe and remain alert. If possible, please evacuate to the designated evacuation centers. The national government, in coordination with grassroots leadership, is continuously providing assistance. From PTV Manila, Floyd Brents, Balitang, Pambansa.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, has raised its alert status due to Typhoon Nika's impact on parts of the country. PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Jean Fajardo stated that PNP members are assisting with evacuations in northern Luzon, where the typhoon may landfall. The PNP's Reactionary Standby Support Force is also ready for disaster response. They are focusing on Region 2 and northern Luzon while preparing for typhoons Ophel and Pipito. Fajardo added that the DILG has instructed police to coordinate with local authorities for storm preparation.
Meron na pong direktibang ibinabarin po ang DILG, ang ating secretary, for all PROs to coordinate with their respective LDRIMs and LGU to prepare po dito po sa padating po na Nika and even Ophel and even Pipito po.
As our economy continues to grow, the number of investors and jobs in this country is expected to increase further. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has signed into law the Create More Act today. The Create More law seeks to achieve corporate recovery and provide added tax incentives for enterprises to maximize opportunities for reinvigorating the economy. This law aims to attract more investors and position the Philippines as a prime investment destination by improving tax incentives and policies for both local and foreign investments.
Create More Act is a resounding testament of our commitment to make the Philippines the destination of choice for investment. Create More sets the stage for a business landscape that empowers our enterprises and enhances their growth prospects. By building on the reforms initiated through the Create Act, we have enhanced our tax regime, incentive framework, and making it more inviting for investment, while remaining steadfast in the principles of fiscal prudence and stability.
Senate President Francis Escudero said Create More seeks to encourage more investors to come to the Philippines by providing a more predictable, sustainable, and level playing field. He added this is in line with their commitment in the Senate to make life easier for Filipinos and for those who choose to do business here in the country. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian said through Create More projects and activities beneficial to the country, like food security, will be assured of support. Meanwhile, Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri believes that the Create More Act will cut red tape in the investment sector. Zubiri explained they wanted to straighten out and simplify the process of VAT refunds, as this has been an issue for many major locators to the Philippines. The senator added that if existing investors are losing billions here, it is logical for them to leave, as Create More aims to solve this issue.
Doon naman sa mga bagong investors natin ay maaakit sila dahil mas malawak at mas mahaba yung mga incentives na ibibigay natin sa kanila pag nag-invest sila dito sa ating bansa.
Coming up, China expresses opposition to the country's enactment of two important maritime laws.
The Department of Agriculture of DA has monitored a growing number of public markets in Metro Manila selling rice in the 42 peso to 45 peso range. More stories when Balitang Pambansa returns.
Karamihan sa amin ay nag-asawa na lang, walang pinag-aralan, hindi po kami educated. Bakit ipinanganak ako na IP ako na parang walang mga opportunity na para sa amin?
Nagbabaon kami, kanin lang, ang ulam, bagong, gano'n. Talagang wala nang kaya ang magulang ko.
Hango sa kwento ng mga totoong tao. Tahanan ng mga award-winning documentaries. Public Eye sa PTV.
China is once again asserting its claim over parts of the West Philippine Sea, which it calls Wangyandao. This comes in response to the recent Philippine laws that reinforce the country's maritime rights. In turn, the government has firmly defended its actions, citing international law and a favorable ruling from the Permanent Court of Arbitration. As our Patrick De Jesus tells us more.
China continues to assert its claim over parts of the West Philippine Sea. In a statement from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, their government released the baselines and base points of what they claim is their territorial sea adjacent to Scarborough Shoal, which they call Wangyandao. China issued this statement a few days after the Philippine Maritime Zones Act and Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act were enacted, also voicing their opposition to these laws. The Philippine ambassador to Beijing was even summoned in protest. In response, the National Security Council stated China has no reason to protest as these laws comply with international law.
Pero hindi kasi sila yung law of China on the territorial sea and contiguous zones. Kung meron silang batas, bakit tayo wala? Walang kailangan ikabahala ang People's Republic of China kasi wala naman tayong linalabag na kahit anumang international law dito.
According to the NSC, the Philippines only strengthened its rights over waters under the two laws signed by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Kung ano man yung naaayon sa international law, naaayon sa UNCLOS, at kung ano man yung napanalunan natin dun sa Permanent Court of Arbitration, ay siyang nakasaad dito sa dalawang batas na ito.
The laws will take effect after submission to the International Maritime Organization. A new map of the Philippines is up for release by the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority or NAMRIA. From the People's Television Network, Patrick De Jesus, Balitang Pambansa.
The price of rice in some markets in Metro Manila has been reduced to between 42 and 45 pesos per kilogram. The Department of Agriculture or DA announced this after some officials visited Murphy Public Market, Q-Mart Public Market, and Kamuning Public Market. The agency also stated that it will help rice retailers in Metro Manila buy directly from suppliers to reduce reliance on middlemen. Moreover, the DEA has spoken with rice suppliers willing to sell rice at 37 to 38 pesos per kilogram to retailers in Metro Manila.
Parte ng kasunduan talaga doon is ma-temper yung presyuhan sa pamamagitan na makita kung saan ba talaga yung tamang presyuhan.
On the other news, the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability has ordered the arrest of 4 officials from the Office of the Vice President due to their repeated failure to attend the panel hearing on the alleged fund misuse issue at the OVP. Among those who were cited in contempt are OVP Assistant Chief of Staff at Bids and Awards Committee Chair Limuel Ortoño, Special Disbursing Officer Gina Acosta, and former DepEd officials Sunshine Fajarda and Edward Fajarda, who are now transferred to the OVP. Vice President Sara Duterte's Chief of Staff, Undersecretary Zuleika Lopez, was also unable to attend. However, due to valid reasons, she was granted another opportunity to appear at the next hearing.
Medyo nakakapagtaka dahil pare-parehas silang umalis. Pare-parehas silang may travel order. Pare-parehas silang pinahintulutan na umalis sa araw na may hearing tayo. Now, it makes me think that there's actually a malicious intent behind all these reasons and travel orders given to them just so that they can, again, avoid attending today's hearing, Mr. Chair.
The National Dairy Authority calls for collaboration to achieve the country's target of 2.5% milk sufficiency level in 2025. John Noel Herrera lays it out in this report.
The National Dairy Authority calls for collaboration to achieve the country's target of 2.5% milk sufficiency level in 2025. The call was stressed by National Dairy Authority Administrator Attorney Marcos Andaya during the National Dairy Summit in Iloilo City, citing the need to address the supply concerns in dairy industry, as 99% of the country's 1.9 billion liters of annual dairy requirement is being sourced from other countries. Andaya assured farmers and stakeholders that the government is always ready to provide assistance to achieve the goal, leading closer to the country's 5% sufficiency target by 2028.
So yan ang mga binibigay namin po, hindi lang yung hayo, pati yung technology, yung technique, lahat, no? Capacity building, gamot, aids, hanggat kaya ng gobyerno, ibibigay namin yan. Kasi ang objective namin, hindi para kumita ang gobyerno, hindi kumita yung mga farmers. Kasi pag kumita ang farmers, ibig sabihin, nakapag-produce sila ng maraming gatas. Ayun ang kailangan natin, yung milk sufficiency, food security.
To achieve the target, NDA plans to include increasing the herd by exportation of dairy cattle, boosting the yield through proper feeding, nutrition, and medicine, increasing the number of dairy farmers, and launching more active national dairy campaigns to promote the nutritional benefit of milk. On the other hand, Department of Agriculture Undersecretary for Livestock, Deogracias Victor Sabeliano, described the dairy sector as a sunrise industry due to its increased involvement of major investors and international players signaling incredible potential for the industry.
Let us harness the momentum and capitalize on opportunities that are already found, not just for the benefit of our business, but for the future of the Philippine agriculture.
From Philippine Information Agency, Filipino, John Noel Herrera, for Balitang, Pambansa.
The Department of Science and Technology, or DOST, boosts the Alegre Rice and Corn Dealer and Rice Mill in Zamboanga, Sibugay that will enable local businesses to better meet the needs of their customers and help improve the region's economy. Philippine Information Agency Zamboanga, Sibugay, Jocelyn Alvarez has the full report.
In Zamboanga, Sibugay, a local rice mill is set to level up its operations with nearly 3 million peso boost from the Department of Science and Technology. This funding will not only enhance production capacity, but also help meet the growing market demands. The financial assistance is part of the Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program, or setup, of the DOST. With this fund, the Alegre Rice and Corn Dealer and Rice Mill will be able to purchase a modern 12-ton rice drying system that will increase their drying capacity from 90 to 120 bags per load. As a result, their productivity is expected to rise by 30%.
The upgraded technology made possible through science, technology, and innovation will enable local businesses to improve productivity. With the mechanical dryer equipment, the firm can better meet the palay drying needs of their customers, not only during the dry season, but also during the rainy season.
This upgrade will not only increase production capacity, but will also create new jobs in their local community, helping to boost the region's economy.
Nagpasalamat ko sa DOST, sa PSTO, sa maong ihatag nilang mechanical dryer karon ng upgrading sa maong galingan. Idako yun na mo ang produksyon na mo. May dagdag po may additional na pong empleyado. Sa una is nasa 30% ang mga produksyon na mo, pero dagan ng mga 60. Maayo po dagan ang akong income karon.
Through its set of programs, the DOST continues to empower local businesses, helping them enhance their technology, increase production capacity, and contribute to the economic growth of their communities. This is just one example of how innovation is fueling progress across the region. From Philippine Information Agency Zamboanga, Sibugay, Jocelyn Alvarez for Balitang, Pambansa.
Health workers from both government and private facilities across Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARMM, began receiving their long overdue health emergency allowance during essential support as the holiday season draws near. The health minister of BARMM stated this following dialogue with around 4,000 allowance recipients. Sinulinding stated that the HEA includes both essential healthcare workers and non-health volunteers who served during the COVID-19 pandemic, regardless of their employment status. Sinulinding also thanked President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., BARMM Chief Minister Ahod Ibrahim, and the Department of Health Central Office for their efforts in helping release the funds for BARMM health workers.
And that concludes our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. This will bring you the widest and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. This is
Balitang Pambansa.